Mario, you beautiful, naive, sophisticated newborn baby.
Yes, an excellent pull from what we're going to be talking about today. So we're actually going to be talking about the TV show Parks and Recreation. What Enneagram type and subtype do we think Ron is?
Well, I was going to say, clearly he's a preserver. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah. And woodworking, just before we go any further, when I am assessing clients and doing my typing interviews, one of the things I ask is, what do you do for fun? What are your hobbies? And for male preservers, home kind of stuff, right? Making things, fixing things, repairing things is a dead giveaway. Many preservers like those kind of things. And with male preservers, it is doing yard work, woodworking, all these sort of things. So for me, that is a blaring red flag. So TJ Ingrassia, continue with your assessment.
Okay, so here's where you guys can set me straight. I feel like Ron Swanson is almost like an 8 who is striving to feel detached. Now, maybe there's a lot of the preserving doing some work there, but I feel like there's a strong, whatever he is, it's somewhere on that continuum.
Yeah. Fair enough. TJ, Dawe, what do you think?
Yeah, preserving 8 is my guess. And he is extremely private. So there were definitely echoes of the Harrison Ford character from Shrinking in our episode about preserving 5. And by the way, in case anybody's listening to this and they are brand new to the Enneagram, and in case that person is Amy Poehler herself, preserving, navigating, transmitting, these are terms that are not often talked about in casual discussions of the Enneagram, but we believe these are an essential element of what differentiates one type of say, an 8 in this case, according to my opinion, from another type of 8. A navigating 8 is very different from a preserving 8, very different from a transmitting 8. They've got certain things in common, but strong differences that make just as much of a difference as the type.
Yeah. And it's the root of most mistypings that we see, the instinctual biases or the subtypes. We see, for example, a lot of times people who are transmitters being mistyped as 8s or as 7s or as some of the more assertive, aggressive types, people who are preservers being mistyped as, some of the less aggressive types, like a 5, like a 1, like a 6. But you really have to understand these two dimensions in order to fully understand the Enneagram. Because I think this is a great case, and TJ Ingrassia, you make a great point. He's an 8, but boy, oh boy, does he seem to be trying hard to be a 5. But he's just got, look, he's a guy who fishes with a gun, right? There's just this, and there's, when they take them out camping, for the camp, I forget which episode, with the Pawnee Rangers, right? And he opens up the handbook that he made himself, and it only has one point in there that says, be a man. Right?
It's hard to imagine a 5 saying that.
Exactly.
Whereas a cartoon version of an 8 would definitely say that.
Yeah. Rob Lowe looks like such a 3, right? You just want to look, you look at him and you just want to say, are you kidding me? That jawline, that guy's got to be a 3, right? But his more notable characters have that sort of bubbly, bouncy, shrug it off, look at the bright side sort of quality to them that really just strikes me as 7-ish. And I get the 2 thing because there is, and it is, there's even one episode where like when he breaks up with Anne and she doesn't get it. And the voiceover is that his positivity and optimism were such that she didn't even realize she was being broken up with. Everything he says should be followed by an exclamation point, right? There's even that scene where, she walks, he bumps into her in the hallway and he says, Ann Perkins, you just got to jump. Ann Perkins.
That's a running thing through the whole series is he uses first names with an exclamation point like that.
Okay, right. And, and you know a lot about testes, Ann Perkins. Just everything is just so positive and so bright and so exciting. And, when I got to thinking about...
I'm sorry, I have to pause you there. One of my favorite lines of the whole series, it's in that same scene. and shows him her phone. And he says, wow, your inbox is literally filled with penises.
We always want to make the distinction between skillfulness at something and attention and prioritizing of it. Okay. There are lots of people who prioritize navigating stuff but aren't good at it. There's a lot of people who prioritize transmitting things but are not good at it. If, for example, when we get to the Aziz Ansari character, Tom Haverford, yeah, right. He's. I think we can agree he's a transmitter.
Who's bad at transmitting.
Who's really bad at transmitting, right? Because everything fails. He drives everybody away. He makes everybody crazy. So, this is a situation where we can have a bias towards something but not be skilled at it. All right, so let's move on to Leslie Knope, the Amy Poehler character. That is why we kind of started this, because of her love for the Enneagram.
So one of the reasons that I chose the episode Ron and Diane, and that's the one where Ron's nominated for the Woodworking Award, is you see just how over the top her connection to Ron is, in terms of how it comes out she's had a Google alert for his name for 7 years and it finally paid off. She's so excited to meet Diane. She's so excited to go to this thing that he didn't tell anybody about. When she meets Diane, she bombards her with questions about what are your 5 biggest hopes, dreams, fears, and regrets. She wants to know what Hogwarts house she'd be in. She's so approving of her, and then gets so defensive of Ron when Tammy 2 shows up. So that, to me, seemed pretty two-ish.
Yeah, I think if you boil Leslie down, striving to feel connected really feels like that's the ultimate core of who she is. She's also striving to feel outstanding in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of ways where she's striving to feel perfect. She has lots of binders and wants things done a certain way. But ultimately, I think most of that ends up being in the service of the connection that she has with the people around her.
Her desire to run for city council, it takes somebody else to reach out to her to do it. And then she's torn about having to break up with her boyfriend in order to avoid a scandal of any kind of impropriety because he's her boss. And she keeps trying to break up with him and not, because she's so welded to wanting to be connected with him. It breaks her heart to break that up. And then same with the Pawnee Rangers. She's competitive with Ron. She keeps wanting Ron to admit that her group is better, but she's knocked herself out to create all of these fun activities for the girls. And she's come up with awards for everybody, and she's full of praise for everybody. So it's like she's competitive in a very two-ish way.
We were talking about this like it's real people. But, good writing, good acting, good art portrays reality. And the Enneagram is reality. And so we see it in well-done TV series and movies like this.